welcome to the second installation of my monthly digest videos. This is going to be my monthly recap for February. We'll talk about some of my favorite things and just kind of touch on things that I feel like talking about. This past month flew by so fast. I know it's a shorter month, but so much happened, and yet it all felt like kind of slow at the same time. I don't know. I live in Los Angeles and we have not gotten a break with the weather. It has been so cold and so rainy. I mean, last night it was downpouring. It was so loud. I was up till like 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep. We've just had a really long winter, and I think that's also bumming me out, if I'm being honest. So I'm trying to push through feeling sad about the weather, but there were so many good things that happened in February. Like my show happened. I wanted to update you all on that because the last two videos I did were kind of talking about me preparing for my first group show at a contemporary art gallery in LA, which is a huge deal and a huge honor, and it just felt so special, and it was. Everyone I love and care about showed up that night, and they were so excited for me. My family flew into town and they stayed with me, and my aunt and uncle drove up. I felt very, very loved and grateful, and it was so special because a few nights before the show happened on a Saturday, or the opening, I got tagged in a post that I thought was kind of weird. It was a tag by this family who they're art collectors, and they tagged one of my pieces, and I was like, I wonder if someone bought one of my pieces already. And sure enough, I checked the website, and 2 out of 3 of my pieces had already sold, and by the next day the final one had sold, and I just felt so elated that my pieces sold before the opening. People had inquired about them, and they went to art collectors. Well, I know one of them was an art collector for sure, but so that was just so exciting, and I was just riding on this high for a while, and it was lovely. I didn't really get much footage at the gallery the opening night because it was so packed. I was talking to everybody, but I wore this really cute vintage purple dress that I found on Etsy a few months prior. I wanted to specifically wear it to the opening because I was thinking ahead, and then I wore different colored shoes, this really pretty blue and this really, really pretty chartreuse green. I painted my nails to match the shoes. I got a pedicure, which I was in desperate need of. I was really taking care of myself, and just making myself feel good because it was something to be celebrated, and I'm just really proud of myself. And I also got to go to Frieze, which is an art fair that happens in LA, and it was incredible. It was all of these galleries had submitted artwork into one giant space, and you get to look at all of these pieces. And shout out to Lucy, who reached out to me. She was working for Frieze this year. She reached out to me, asked if I wanted to go, and she was able to get me a ticket, which was just so sweet and thoughtful, and it was so lovely. That was so nice. So I got to see all this artwork, and which leads me into I want to talk about some of my favorite things from this past month. When I was there, they had, a couple of store pop-ups with a bunch of different artists who were selling their work, and I came across these ceramic bowls and plates and mugs and stuff, and they were just so beautiful. I got to talking to the owners, and it turns out this the people who make this pottery, they help incarcerated women, queer people, trans people of color who have gotten out of prison, and they help them get work. So then I was just in love with these pieces even more because there was like a good cause behind it, and you know, they were reasonably priced for how like gorgeous they are. This is one of the bowls that I got. It's so beautiful. It's like a teal or blue green, and I bought 2 of them, and yeah, I love them. I've been using them a bunch, and I just think they're beautiful. I'm really happy to have them in my collection. So yes, so please check them out if you're interested. I believe they have a studio and possibly a store at the studio in LA. And I've also been looking for like volunteer opportunities. I don't know if they need volunteers, but that would be awesome. Next favorite are these E.L.F. lip stains. I was on TikTok. I'm like never on TikTok, but I was on TikTok months ago, and I remember seeing this girl doing her makeup and using all this new fun stuff that I'd never seen. And one of them was these lip stains in this sienna color, and I was like, I need that. And it's been sold out for so long, and I was at Target recently and I saw it there, and since then I've picked up like 2 other colors, but it goes on, it's super pigmented, it goes on glossy, pigmented enough, but it feels like there's a nice wash that goes over your lips, and your lips look like really juicy and they feel really hydrated, and you can blot that initial like first layer off and just use it as a stain, or you can keep going over and building up the color. I just think whatever they've got going on in this just makes a whole lot of sense, and I am really into it. So yeah, I kind of want to collect them all. Like, they're just so good. And my last favorite is I got to go to Nintendo World finally, and I've been waiting so long to go. I've been waiting so long for it to open. It opened in Japan a couple years ago, and I was so jealous. And it finally opened at Universal here, and I got to go as like a fun thing after my show, like to celebrate. I went with my dad, and it was just so magical. We got to go opening weekend. If you've been following me for a long time, you know that I love video games. I love games. I collect board games. I do want to do a video on that actually. I allowed myself to buy something there because it felt so special, and I bought this cute little stackable Yoshi game. It's just a bunch of different colored Yoshis, and you have to try and stack them all. And like, how cute is this? I can't. My last monthly digest, I did have my little movie review corner, and I mentioned I wanted to watch at least 2 new movies a month, and I outdid myself this month. I don't even know how many movies I watched, but it was like a lot. I'll try and count them because I record them on Letterboxd. And if it's a movie I'm not totally, if it's like a rom-com or something, or I usually don't rate it because I don't think it's fair. It's like, yeah, it's not going to be the best. It's like pointless for me to rate, I feel like. But I did watch a lot of bad movies this month too, and I did rate some of them, and it just like, yeah. But also, I watched some really good ones. I found a favorite. I think I found a new favorite. Welcome to my movie review corner, where I'm literally in a corner. I did one of these last month. I really enjoyed it because I freaking love cinema and film. And this month I watched so many movies, it's not even funny. I almost feel guilty about it. Almost. I want to talk about the best film I watched this month, which is called What Happened Was. It's a film by Tom Noonan. He wrote, directed, starred in it. It's really impressive. This was first a play, and he adapted it to a film. and it's actually streaming on Mubi right now, which just so happens to be the sponsor of this video. If you don't know what Mubi is a curated streaming service that is dedicated to elevating great cinema from all around the globe. Each film is carefully handpicked by Mubi curators, and depending on which country you live, the films will be different, which is really fun and exciting. And in case you haven't guessed by now, Mubi is for lovers of great cinema and people who don't know they love great cinema yet. And you can get 30 days free if you go to mubi.com/Madelynn. That's mubi.com/Madelynn. This is like my dream sponsor. I'm so excited. So please enjoy the 30 days of free Mubi. It's like such a joy. What happened is a film that came out in 1994. It's set in a New York City apartment. It's about these two coworkers who work at a law firm. Jackie invites Michael over for dinner, and it's just about their interactions with one another, and they're trying really hard to be like vulnerable and intimate with one another, but it's just like always a miss. She's seeing Michael as this really cool, charismatic, he's the funniest guy at the office. She's really going to him for like seeking his approval and what she's talking about. And he's just kind of smug. And towards the end of the film, the tables turn and he ends up being more interested in what she has to say. He's realizing that he's just as much of a mess as she is, and the dialogue is insane. It's so real and raw, it's funny, it's awkward, and I loved it so much. It's one of the best films I've seen in a really long time, so I highly recommend watching this film. But of course, there are so many other films on Mubi that you can watch. But yes, be sure to go to mubi.com/Madelynn for your 30 days free of Mubi, watching great cinema. I'm so excited for you all. Thank you, Mubi, for sponsoring this video. We're gonna work on some more stuff coming up, which I'm really excited about. That was kind of my monthly recap. Honestly, it's been super exciting, but also there were a lot of days that weren't because of the weather and like, I don't know, other, like personal stuff, just a lot going on. I'm super happy to be continuing this series, and hopefully this one wasn't too boring. It's just like, I want to do so much with these, but I also have to like catch up on ceramics orders and all that stuff, and so I'm trying to like make sense of my time. But hopefully this was enjoyable, and I'm really excited about what March is going to bring. I hope you all are having a lovely day. I hope you had a lovely February.